The Supreme Court needs expanded or completely politically dissolved. That's where we're at. There's really no other two options available to keep this Supreme Court still functioning. The last 4 or 5 rulings have been absolutely devastating to the American people. Started with women losing their rights, 167 million plus women and childbearing people losing the right to their reproductive health care. A precedent that has been set for over 50 years, gone. No oral arguments, no discussions whatsoever. An ideological court just saying no, okay? Workers are losing their rights to strike in a ruling that just happened recently, where the employer can now sue striking workers that miss equity during the strike or have just collect potential damages from the striking workers if that happens to them in their company. This is just going to incentivize workers to not strike. Okay. Religious bigotry is now a thing in the United States, legally speaking. Of course, it's always going to be here, but legally speaking, religious bigotry to deny people from the LGBTQ population their rights to have free and open commerce in the United States is now a thing. You can deny your product, deny those people your product simply on the basis that they belong to the LGBTQ plus community. So they're upholding that. Affirmative action was also just overturned. Look at all these people in the crosshairs. The LGBTQ plus community, black and brown people, women and women's rights, workers and workers' rights. They're not hiding who they are. They're just not hiding it. And listen, I didn't need any of these rulings to tell me that the United States of America is a regressive shithole country. I didn't need that. This is my theory in overdrive. That it is a fundamentally regressive shithole country filled with shithole people doing shithole things. And the court needs expanded or completely politically dissolved. There are no other options, in my opinion. If you have an option that you think is viable, that you think would be helpful, I would love to hear it. Those are the only two options I can process at this particular moment. Leave me a comment below. I'd love to hear from you. Does anyone need any more evidence how bad things are in the United States? Anybody? Did you really need this? No, I didn't. It's just what I've always believed being personified to me and realized to me in real time by a Christo-fascist, theocratic court that doesn't care about oral arguments anymore, doesn't care about standing anymore, doesn't care about precedent anymore. These people These Christo-fascists, the 6-3 supermajority on the Supreme Court, does not care anymore about upholding any laws, any precedent, any legal standing, and they're doing it from the highest court in the country. What's that going to say to lower courts? Just be ideological. Don't care about standing. Don't care about precedent. Don't care about the arguments. Just be ideological. We don't know how bad it is. Most people don't know how bad it is and how bad it's going to get from this point on. But if the court is not balanced, we will never see in our lifetime or in future lifetimes a liberal or progressive policy ever being enacted again, because they're going to dismantle this democracy. Okay? That's the goal. Women losing rights, black and brown people losing rights, LGBTQ plus people losing rights. They're not trying to hide it, folks. They're not hiding it. They're telling us exactly who they are and who they represent. And if you don't know who that is, you're lost. Please find help. These people are on the court to uphold their faith and implement it into law and create a theocracy here. These white, mostly male, patriarchal, Christo-fascists, they are here to give me and you their minority rule. Doesn't matter if they're wildly out of touch with the public. Doesn't matter if they're wildly out of touch with the court of public opinion, which they are. Doesn't matter. What matters here is power. This is all about power and taking it away from certain people and retaining it for others, mainly themselves. I'm smiling though. There's going to be big blowback, political and otherwise. Things have gotten to such a point where it's enacting, it's initiating new political phases in American life. And people are just done. They're done with liberals. They're done with conservatives. They're done with the establishment. Because we see one side completely running amok, completely implementing their will, and we see the other side with their hands up. What can we do? What can we do? Protect your rights? Fight for them? What can we do? I don't even have to tell you who I'm talking about here. You already know who they are. So I forecast for things to pick up pretty fast from here on out, because we know the ship is sinking and we know we have to act. We know we have to organize. We know we have to fight back against this Christo-fascist supermajority. Voting isn't going to cut it, guys. We're going to have to get in the streets. We're going to have to protest. And we're going to have to make our presence known. because people have gotten too comfortable. People have forgotten that we need to do more than vote to retain our democracy. Okay? Look at France right now. They've been fighting in the streets against their government for weeks on end, months on end. We're going to have to take cues from them because our government isn't doing anything. Once again, you have one side repealing human rights across the board and the other side, what can we do? I mean, it's an absolute joke, okay? Things are going to change. Things have to change. And I'm pretty excited about it. Anyway, let me know your thoughts about the Supreme Court and this rash of rulings, their anti-human rights campaign that they're running from the Supreme Court. Let me know your thoughts about that.